Hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream here on the twitch.tv/the Xisuma playing on the Hermitcraft. There's too much zoom. Modify the zoom. We've got some things to talk about today. Got some stuff going on like building a new computer. Other things going on that I'll mention. And we also got some new Patreons signing up. The Table, Robert Yates, Thierry Dukes. Pretty sure Dukes, D-E-U-X. I bet it's like Deuce or something. Pretty sure that's a butchered name right there. You're probably not here because I've just started the live stream. There's only a few bananas in chat from Lucro, Forgill, Spooky Dokie, and Hero Blender. The peeps are tuning in. We are kicking off straight away today. No pre-stream music because I needed to jump right into this one and make the most of our time. Yes, thank you for signing up via Patreon. I hope you enjoy playing on the Let's Play Minecraft Together server. If you need to get whitelisted, xisumavoid.com/get-whitelist. Or should I be plugging my Linktree, linktree.xisuma.co, you can find the get whitelisted bit on there. Got some big changes coming to that soon, but they're still not done. So I've had big stuff in the works behind the scenes. Okay, the website not really being one of the big things. There's just been going on, like, some of it has been like years now. And one day you'll get to find out all about it, and I'll be like, hey, all those time I mentioned working on stuff behind the scenes, now you know. Now you know. Right, clearly I've been using the farm over here. Before we head off to iBuy, which is going to be the focus of our stream today, working on the behind the scenes over there, we'll do some behind the scenes over here. I need to use some honeycomb and continue working on this little contraption that I just decided to make today. I was like, I feel like I need something here. I need a way to say, you know what? Probably don't need more of those shulker boxes right now. So by creating this simple setup, as you can see, when the lamp is on, we are farming. When it is off, we will be sending power through to lock the hoppers. And I haven't really looked at this yet, but in theory, if I go up there, the filters should be full. Right, and there are blocks that I need. Scaffolding blocks. Where are the scaffolding blocks? In here? Maybe this chest? There you go. I've got a few, like, operational chests, and occasionally I move the items around and forget where I put them. Ye old envelope! Thank you ever so much for 4 months of support. Greatly appreciated. That Ginger cosplayer, thank you for 14 months. Hey, Extras, wanted to say, thanks for seeing my suggestion for a reader of the Furnace XP shop. I can imagine that there's a way to make an improved version. Since you suggested that, it's just been on my mind. I know what you mean. There's something I need to get like into the weeds of it, because there was something that changed that I know would impact that. Yes, this is a sign that this is working correctly, as intended, which is awesome. We will continue building it. Thanks again for that suggestion. What I want to do is find another hermit to team up with, and just do the project together. Let's get something really cool going. I'll do all the redstone, someone else does the aesthetics. I reckon it will be great. Now, we need to craft some other stuff here. My mind has been in a very Minecrafty space as of late. One of the many things I want to do is redo some of my shulker boxes. I keep learning about how to lay this stuff out and make them more useful. And dang, I feel like I thought I was going into a bit of a period here where I'd like calm down with the Minecraft stuff, but my brain is just always obsessed with the various like challenges and possibilities inside of this game. It's been kind of wild. Right, so now we got those. Then again, improvements that I've made, right? Like, look at this. Now we've got the cobblestone. Much more prepared. In fact, some of those sticks were really for that, weren't they? The one, the only Dev Chimera is here for 7 months saying, hello, hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty well, thanks for asking. Cleaned the house top to bottom today and yesterday. I mean, well, yesterday was a bit more of a story because I was working on computer stuff. Today was just doing everything else. Got it all done. My kitchen is just, oh, ants, man. Ants keep going in there. I've been cleaning it religiously, keeping it like, not just like cleaning up after myself, but cleaning up as I go. Like, And they just, you know, they keep coming in there. Oh, we've got to remember to honeycomb all of this. So yeah, I got to clean it like good and proper, clean the floor today. I'm hoping it makes a difference. It probably won't. Where do we get to? Aristotle B, thank you for 7 months. Armored Monkey here for 56. 4 more months. Can't watch the stream today. Enjoy, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, my dude. Thanks for using the Prime if you're still there. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Have a great day doing whatever you're doing on this planet Earth, eh? Oh. We'll just replace that. The one other noise I missed is Wiggly Fox for 38. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't have a cup of tea with me today. I just had this real like impulse to sip tea. Do you ever dream about Minecraft? My dreams often pull up from what I did during the day, so Minecraft shows up sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I dream about very direct kind of Minecraft experiences, and my favorite thing is when like the Minecraftiness overlaps. You know, so sometimes it's like you're having a real life dream and then you open up your inventory. You know, like you have these weird sort of overlaps with concepts from the gaming reality, let's say, of Minecraft. I need, you know, what I need is already here. 1, 2, 3 of those, yes please. As we are making it known to myself, my future self. That's who we're working for right now. I'm pretty sure that one's obsidian. Oh, they're all empty, so I'd have to go right up the top to figure out what each of these are. Obsidian, fire charge. Do you know, I can actually just pinch from the item filter and they will correct over time. And I don't have any of those items, so yeah, we'll do that. Trying to work with no internet, so it's an interesting day so far, says Huda Tiger. I mean, how are you here watching if you've got no internet? Are you aware of tethering? You can tether your mobile phone connection to your computer. That has, on occasion, saved me greatly. These days, though, just stuff seems so much more reliable all the time that I haven't had to use it in a long time. So, stuff that's on is stuff that we're still farming. I feel like leather, especially with the next update with the armor trims, maybe not actually, because doesn't it cost like diamonds to put? I really want to take advantage of armor trims, make some fantastical coloured leather armor, but quite pricey, isn't it? Right, now, the next bit that we're building poses to us a little bit more of a challenge, because the filters here are doubled up, and obviously we would only want to hit one leather at a time. And just using my Minecraft brain for a second, it's going to be quite tricky to tile that stuff unless you double up the input or create another rather... I think I'm seeing potentially something here. And it'll look a little bit ugly. Right, so we get 2 signals from where the lever is going to be. And if this thing is powered, it's on. I'll work with that state for now. I don't think that's actually helpful. So the trick is probably not to use redstone dust and to use repeaters, so we control exactly where it goes. Now here's where this idea I think falls apart a little bit, because I could put a torch there and then it would directly power this block, which powers that. Although I was actually trying to power that one. Not sure. Not sure this is possible. Unless we think different at this point here. I mean, I'm thinking like target blocks, but then you always have to put the redstone side by side. Okay, Lucro says you also got to keep in mind how the other modules will affect it. I am doing that, my friend. I'm doing that. So, suggestions. Redstone is out there. I feel like if there is an answer to the problem in front of us, it will probably be simple, because we're dealing with such a small amount of space. We're going to need something quite simple. I don't want to use observers because I don't want to flip things or have them rely on like a static What is the terminology for that? Like, when you push a block with a piston, you one-tick it, you're like moving it from A to B. and sometimes that stuff just trips up for whatever reason and gets out. Maybe powered rails. That's okay. So we might have to double up. Actually, I think powered rails is the same sort of thing. It's a state change. Okay, powered rail is a suggestion. As much as I'd like to stay and pop in and say hi, says Anna of Scarva. Thanks for coming by and saying hi. Have a great whatever you're up to. Thanks for tuning in for a minute. Drew Dude is here for 22 months of the Amazon Prime. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you using that on me. I'm not seeing many suggestions. If you're watching and you've got ideas, let me know. Let me know. So the reason I grabbed a sticky piston is I just figured there might be like a movement here that manipulates two things at once. And I can actually start to see it now, although I'm thinking of using a sticky piston to the side. That won't work. Yeah, I don't think I got the answer here. Lucro is suggesting doing something with like a double torch that involves me moving this. You know, it crossed my mind, but I pretty quickly ruled it out. So, like, here, and then you got to like manipulate. Oh, if I put it there, then a block on top allows the repeater to go through. The issue then is that you've used two torches, so therefore, therefore you have to use a torch. Oh, I think we just found our way into it. Okay, so we didn't run away from that challenge. We stuck with it for a minute, and then I think we found an answer. So, quick little test, right? Now, in theory, nothing else is able to manipulate that. So at this level here, slight problem. Slight problem. I need it to be the other way around. We basically have to lock the hopper below the one we originally intended to lock. Unless I put the torch there and just do a double repeater, which I think actually, no, wait. Did I miss something here? Like, it's repeater... got it. That is our layout, and I'm out of those things. So, we have a repeater here, and then we just need a block there with a repeater on it. And we have achieved the same thing from one lever, and it is tileable. Look at that, look at that. Gorgeous. Right. Gotta love creating a challenge and then solving it. Right, so no need for sticky pistons. The thing that we are low on is the honeycomb, and I have, look, 64 here. I don't want to take a trip all the way back. Do I have... Oh my god, it's sitting right there. I thought I checked earlier, and I was like, oh, I don't have any more honeycombs in there. No, I got all the honeycombs. That's... I have the biggest problem of all. I got too much honeycomb. iBuy looks different in this light, says NH3 Messi. We are at one of my farms that produces the goods for iBuy, and we are here in order to, well, actually just wrap up what I was doing sort of off camera, really. That's all this is about. So if we go ahead and just kind of like repeat this design, then we're good. Only have to do it a handful of times. Put those torches in place. Don't forget to... Whoopsie. Grab these things too. You can never have too many honeycombs, says Call Me Misfit. That is true. However, to have all of them, like, to have that many, 27 slots in my ender chest, that's not really how my ender chest should work. This is what I'm learning. I think I need to better categorize useful items so that there's, like, 3 stacks of each. Give or take a little bit. And with that, I will also then have, like, chests like the honeycomb one for specifics. So I can be like, okay, if I need a lot of this, I'll pick up that chest for that project. So I won't be unprepared most of the time, is the idea. There'll be enough to get by, but when I do need to be prepared, then I'll need to grab different boxes. That's sort of my thinking on it. I'm going to go ahead and just put those two in as well, straight away. I Have I made a mistake here? There's torches missing from down below is all. Also, I'm just gonna probably overcheck the amount of honeycomb I need to place on these blocks. Right. Slowly getting there. Oh, the grunting of the... Where are you, by the way? Are you in this bit again? Or am I just hearing one from back there? No, it's a zombie pigman grunt I can hear. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, this happens. So they can effectively spawn in here, and then eventually they pick up boots. I've seen that happen before. Tunker out says, hey X, loved the video yesterday. It was full of everything you might want in a Hermitcraft episode. Meeting with the hermits, redstone decoration, and Xisuma waffling. Thanks. Did you see any of the 2 cooking channels I sent you last time? I think I did. I remember checking out some cooking channels at some point in time. Yeah, I really hit the vibe of like classic Hermitcraft in the last episode. I want to try and keep on that a little bit at the moment, and I did something. I'll give you a little hint. It involves this over here, and it involves ChatGPT of all things. And I just had like a little moment where I was like, "Oh, that's good. Let's try this. This could be interesting." And then had an absolute blast, and created something where my next episode of Hermitcraft will have something rather unusual in it, let's say. And I'm just stoked now. I'm just stoked to record that whenever I'm ready. Okay, so remember, down is on for farming, and I think we're probably going to continue to farm all of these ones. Like, although we've got an insane amount of gravel already, it's so oh, blackstone is one I probably don't need until someone asks for it. And then we've got another material, we got quartz, that's absolutely going to get farmed. Soul sand, I do have a crazy amount of that. Maybe we'll skip on that one for now. And, you know, maybe I could leave them all on and just, like, build up a bigger stockpile, but we're probably going to be throttled by what's most popular over here, so I don't mind having a bit of a selection for now and changing that selection later. We get lots of stuff from here, so it's all good. It's all good. I think I'm going to put some glass blocks up there in between. And we also need item frames again. X, for these, it's the other way around because of the double torches. Let's have a look. I see something different. Wait, oh, it's because, hang on. What are we on about double torches for? Oh, it's the other way around, as in, that's a bit naff. Yikes. That kind of sucks. Interestingly, if I was afraid to, I was originally going to power the block below in one design, and I didn't want to mess with the redstone, and I've just realised that that's something you can actually do. Right, so with it being opposite here, I might be tempted to go back and change this to match, which is actually quite easy. But that means on is off and off is on. So do I want that or do I not? I couldn't tell you really. There isn't an easy way to solve this problem. Unless I move the lamps to the side. Ah, there's an interesting solution to that problem. So it'll be off by 1, but if we put the lamp there, then its state actually represents what we want. Huh. That's pretty cool. Not all solutions are quite as you expect. So I love a good unexpected solution. And what I'll do, I need to make it obvious now which one you're selecting. So we'll double up on the items. And I didn't actually grab those item frames yet, did I? So, opportunity for us to do it right. So here we get to, like, double up. So it's obvious that these two things are linked together. Kind of thinking, actually, maybe those should have been solid blocks. Yeah, that just suits everything that's above it a little bit more. If we do this quickly, we get to leave our item frame in, because that's just how Minecraft works. I've been sent an alternative design, but I'm very happy with the one that I got. Oh, yeah! Now I'm tempted to use that. Huh! No. You've missed something fundamental in what you sent me there, Spooky. Which is that there's... Oh, no. No, wait, that's glass. Yeah, there's glass there. I could technically do away with it. And it wouldn't interfere with anything, would it? Okay. Okay, I might actually go with that design. Then we don't have this, like, doubling up down. Okay, let's try this design sent in by Spooky. Because we know... We found a solution for this. That's great. Let's now just explore the alternative and see which one we like. Dang, these item frames are floaty. I wonder if it was a design decision to let them float like that for a little bit. Okay, so we got those in the same place. I think I'm probably best off here just getting up there and tearing it all out and building it again. Dragon Nebula says, howdy X. Hey chat, how's everyone doing today? How is everyone doing? I'm doing alright. Hope you're all doing good. Yeah, that's the way we'll do it. We'll break all of this off. And then we'll get in here and do this a little bit. I like the noises of the blocks they make. The sound design in this game is quite satisfying, isn't it? Okay, so we have to go to where every time we see a torch like that, we have to go in here. Doing much better. Got some laundry, dishes, and cleaning done yesterday, says Queen Britannia. That's been my day today. Cleaning the house top to bottom, doing laundry, and cleaning the kitchen, doing the dishes. I do enjoy it. But for me, I've got to have some good listening material, and I have been loving this podcast called Darknet Diaries. It's like all stories about hackers and various things that they get up to with like system administration and breaking into systems and security and all that kind of stuff. It's quite geeky, but I like it. I find security really interesting. I think I said this in a recent I was about to say podcast, if you want to call this a podcast, we can call it that. In a recent live stream, it kind of dawned on me that, like, if there's something I'm quite passionate about that I could see myself pursuing, it would be security with computers. I feel like, for the average person, the lack of understanding, or let's say maybe the need to understand security, how things like hacking and password breaking works, like, it feels like there's a big disconnect, and people should be better educated on how this stuff works from like a security perspective. Oh, this might not work. It will. It'll just... Yeah, okay. It'll just use less repeaters. And the delay that has is not really an issue. Okay. We can build it up like this. So, torch on each of these. Yeah, it's... No, wait. Why does that feel wrong all of a sudden? I guess it locks both, doesn't it? It locks both of them. And then it unlocks both of them. Whereas with this one, it only locks one. Not that it can lock a barrel, so... It doesn't even make a difference, essentially. Yeah, so security on computers and, like, people being better educated and whatnot on practices and things you should do with your computer and stuff, like... It's something I'm quite passionate about in a way, I think. Okay, so how do we want to now decorate the space in between? I could go for like a full block thing. I think I'll actually put these here. They'll stop stuff from spawning. And yes, they're actually at this point purely decorative. But then when we do this, right, we are going to create a nice cohesive look. So when I step back, yeah, it looks a little more fitting. And then at this level, just fill in those spots, and we're good. We're good. So down the bottom here now, it's time for the lamps and the item frames, and then put in the corresponding items in. Whoopsie! That was actually one of the original layouts I had. It came together like that. I think it was when the lamps were higher, the item frames were on the side of the observer. That looked pretty cool. Could argue that maybe the levers could have been lower as well. Be careful what you wish for. Cybersecurity is not an easy field, and it will lead you down many different rabbit holes, says Phony Red Banker. That's what sounds interesting to me, though, right? Like, I know, I get a grasp of some of the various aspects of it. You know, I think my lane would be like educating people, because I'm used to chatting to peeps, right, and telling them about stuff. And I just know that, like, password security is just such a... For the average person, it's terrible. Like, most people will have passwords that can just be brute forced because, you know, they want something easy to remember, and that's the weakness of a password. Crappy Toast, thank you for 18 months. How time flies when you're watching a Xisuma play a blocky game. Really enjoyed the cow and chicken farms in your latest HC episode. Thank you. Yeah, lots of great comments about that, which has been really nice to see. Night Sport, 23 months, and Woolcrafter also 23 months using the Amazon Prime. Appreciate it. Will you be signing TCG cards, says Howard DeHuck. Yeah, I've got something planned for that. Not quite signing, but I don't think there'll be any complaints of what I got planned. Right, so now we need the, let's say, rarer items. I'm just, you know, I'm not going to pull them out of the shulker boxes in there because I want them neatly filled up. I don't want to go around later trying to fill them up again. So we got soul sand, and then we got quartz. Just double checking. Then something. That's empty. I wish there was a way to just check. Blackstone and gravel. Can anyone remember what that other item is? Interestingly, no blackstone lying around. That's kind of annoying. Maybe I will just take one out of the shulker box. Over here we got gravel, though. If left with no alternative, I guess we will do that. Because I plan on selling these by the box, as you might have seen. So, like, I don't want, you know, it's not really a big deal if you're one block short, but it would be nice for every block to meet the demand, you know? Right, so we've got to check that one there. I've actually got the scaffolding here, haven't I? This is the last thing to do here. It was an item, says Nomad. Let's find out. Item or block? It's nether brick. Oh, we got some noises in the ear. It's Cowboy up here with some cheers and some biddies. Good morning, Xisuma. Thank you. Thank you for the cheers and biddies. Thanks for supporting the channel. I realised I forgot to turn the sub goal back on after our last stream. Bam. Because we played No Man's Sky. Absolute blast. I've watched a few videos showing off some of the stuff that you get to later on in that game, and you know, I really want to get more into it. Being like a YouTuber and a streamer, and this, like, being a part of Hermitcraft, like this being essentially a profession, you know, when it comes to playing games and you making content with it, it's kind of like, you know, it takes up your time, and so you have to, like, justify it a little bit, at least in my mind. And I would really love a ways for us to forge that path and make No Man's Sky like a viable thing. And considering the interest I've had and seen on the video and the hype around us hermits getting together and playing it, feels like maybe there's a path there. Actually, if we start going for it, maybe we can build an audience that enjoys that, you know. Have you heard of Theo Joe on YouTube? I've heard of Joe Hills. No Man's Sky definitely has a kind of tedious start. Yes, but you kind of like get a little bit engrossed in just the environment that you're in, which is kind of cool. But tedious, yeah, it's a bit slow. But how to pace the beginning of the... Ha! I made a note for myself. Get honeycombs! Like, I just wanted to write it somewhere in games so I wouldn't forget. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's got, like, the opening of that game and the way you get started just feels quite different from a lot of other games that I've played. And you just kind of have to go with it. You just, step by step, you just keep following what it tells you to do. I think I left those over here. Right, empty shulker box can just come back with us for now. Do I have all my supplies, all my gear? Are we leaving here like that? Do I need to bring anything else with me? I could bring this gold, but we don't need it this minute. I just wanted to finish that project off. In fact, what I'm going to do is give ourselves a much nicer view of what's going on here, that's for sure. And then we'll push off. I was so busy on Saturday, I missed the stream, but I've been watching the VOD. I think there's an audience there if you decide to do it again. Feels like there's an audience, yeah. It really does. I can turn that stuff off. Could have had that off for a while, you know. Little minecarts pop back. And yeah, look at that, you know, awesome little system. I don't know what the thumbnail of this stream is going to be, but that might be it right there. I might fill in those gaps as well at some point. I was also thinking about filling them in down here, maybe doing like putting some red terracotta in or something. Right, we need to pick up our ender chest and then skedaddle basically. And the way to leave is this way. And then take a hard left. I mean, isn't every turn in Minecraft a hard turn? Because, you know, it's pretty much like 90 degrees. And, woo, over this way. Then again, wait. Focus on the game. Okay, now I can read chat. Then again, you wouldn't understand anything about that. You need all the systems you are taught constantly. Oh, right, in No Man's Sky, I'm assuming. By the way, the frames here, I'm getting a new computer, and the main reason will just be to not have this kind of lag in the Nether is really it. I felt really weird about getting a new computer. I like to be very economical, and I've just decided to, like, bite the bullet and go for it and get a top-end PC. I realised that this PC that was brought as... I got the top-end CPU at the time, but I didn't go for the graphics card. I actually got sent the 280 later. So I was being quite economical with that one, but this time I decided to go for it. And I think part of the reason is because maybe should have held on to this computer for like another 2 years and waited for the next GPU cycle. Tango making everyone buy new computers. Oh, you blaming the Nether Hub? Oh. Tango-spiracy. It's a good time to upgrade, especially CPU-wise, says Renenta. I don't know. I'll find out soon. I'll dive a little deeper into the thoughts around getting a PC, but I just got to remind myself of what I need. I actually probably need just a bunch of signs, funny enough. My thinking here was, why don't I make a box with signs and dyes in it for, like, colouring... Yeah, I might colour code. I might do some colour coding here. Let's just grab the means to make a bunch of different colours. Although, I want some really nice visible colours more than anything else. Yeah, orange, lime... Yeah, I've got, this is more than enough now. Then I'll want some glow ink. Okay, thinking ahead. Then we got some signs. Do we have any more? I'll just fish out. Now, how did birch end up in there? Do not know. There was some signs. There was some signage, because idge, right? I think that's how it works. There's a thing, then there's an idge. Yeah, is that the signage chest? There you go, got plenty of signage. That's kind of it. Oh yeah, I also need maybe some stone slabs. Yeah, let's take a box of stone over there. I should really just leave those lying around, I've learned. I've really been trying to engage my brain in the process of how you manage materials more in this game. And I've been getting this feeling like, if I can bring all of this thought into Season 10 from the beginning, I can map things out so much better. Because this is really just a case of, like, throwing stuff down over here, throwing stuff down over there. It's not the most convenient way of doing things. But yeah, like, item management in this game, it's a very interesting thing. A lot of people use the old PC as the streaming PC, so the PC you're playing in doesn't get affected by all encoding. It's a nice practice, says DevKymera. I kind of disagree because I think of it as being very wasteful because you're firing up 2 computers, 2 lots of hardware, you know, doubling your power consumption when modern GPUs are built with all the encoding stuff in. Like, the impact it has to stream the game you're playing is very minimal these days. I know a lot about this because I went through it over the years. So when we started recording videos, we used to use something called fraps. And when I say we, I'm talking about hermits, and I'm talking about people in general. It seemed to be the thing to use to record games, right? And there was something else that I moved on to called dxtory after fraps. So fraps would use your CPU. When you would hit record while playing Minecraft, you would feel your frames immediately come down because now the CPU is sharing resources. You know, we were recording 720p 30 FPS and we could tolerate that for some time, but things started to shift towards higher resolutions, 60 frames per second. dxtory came along and it started to use your GPU, and because Minecraft was not much of a GPU intensive game, you could bear the load much better, and you would be able to keep your frames, essentially. Now, we'll continue with that story in just a second, peeps. I have been adding secrets. Oh! Secret entrance. How cool is that? How cool is... Oh, another one! Oh, secret entrance. Yeah, and there's also some added functionality I didn't really talk about, like restock, easy access. Huh. Let's continue with this little story while I... See, I don't want to get too caught up in multitasking. I like to be able to focus on something. Do I have a grind job on my list? Let me have a little check, because there might be something perfect to do while we waffle. Sort of got something quite mild to do a ways away. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go on a grind, actually. Let's put all this stuff in here and let's talk about this and go on a grind. Because now we're talking about multiple things, and then we'll come back here and we'll handle some business over here a little bit later in the stream. I need to take a trip to Kralis. Kralis always lets me use his iron farm. I've got my own, but it's never loaded. So we need to just borrow some iron for the time being. Secret cow level was an I buy all along. Oh, the secret cow level. Right, it's just me online. And I know the way to Kralis is. Alright, so back to like computers and recording software and why I don't think having a streaming rig is a good idea. And recording the stream at a better bitrate for Twitch and YouTube uploads, and it really doesn't need to be high power consumption. Yeah, I really think you need to look into it more, Dev, because the quality of the recording I make is really darn good and way better than anything you're ever going to see on YouTube. Because I've, you know, done the research, sussed out what's the best way to record, minimal, like high quality, getting all the stuff balanced right, so hitting record never impacts the performance of the game, really. Streaming does a tiny bit more because there's a few more things going on your computer at the same time, you know, other applications you got loaded and stuff. Like, you like, I think at the end of the day, if you're going to try and justify having I've gone to the wrong place, a streaming rig, it's like you're looking for like 1 to 2% gains that no one's going to notice. It's one of those things about content creation is like, where is the value? And a lot of the time it's like not the fidelity. Most of you are not going, oh, I am absolutely loving this crisp 60 FPS image. It's like, that's not really the value here. And if it is, you're looking at like 1 to 2% gains. So So back to the story, like DX story comes around, and we start to learn. Now we understand like why when you hit record in Fraps it all goes south, because this is the early days of creating content. No one really kind of like knew what the best way to do stuff was. We just had a way of doing it with a couple of programs. So DX story comes by, and now we realize, oh, Fraps was terrible because it was using our CPU, and that's not good, is it? We don't want that. And in doing so, I discovered that in my Intel chipset, there's actually encoding hardware that can be enabled. It's separate from the CPU itself. It's a built-in encoding system. Right, well, we're only going to need about that much. For this little job that I've had on my list for a long time, just sort of saving it for when I want to have a good old waffle and just go take care of a small thing. I write down all the little jobs that need doing whenever I see them and just chip away at them, you know. So yeah, I enabled the ability for my CPU to use its encoding system. This meant when I enabled it that all of a sudden, like on my computer, you could see all these additional drivers and graphics and, you know, monitor options that weren't actually there. Lucky Tiger Kidden, thank you so much for 60 months. Isn't that Evil X? Or is it 64? I think I might have just done my math wrong. Either way, Evil X is hanging out with us today. I mean, I'm sure there's some other Evil X's in chat, right? So, we get this additional, like we find out that there's a better way to record, and it's actually been sitting in your computer the whole time. So, like, I've had this computer that's had dedicated encoding hardware that you can just flick it and enable. So I started using that, and then I found that like the impact was very minimal for recording and streaming. And over time, again, this is like around the transition to 60 FPS and stuff. Where have I left my bed? That is a question. I don't know where I left my bed. I'll have to scratch my head on that one. Dang, where have I left my bed? Eh? Now, as we switched over to 60 FPS, I think that's when I had to get a new GPU. I think it was the 970 at the time. Hermitcraft Season 3, something like that. Oh yeah, like I need to make a bed. And then I find out that the 970 also has this GPU support, this NVEC encoder built into it. It's got hardware on board for encoding your video. So this means, like, when you use it, you're not impacting the native stuff that works with processing graphics and whatnot, right? Like, it's not like you're taking your CPU to do an encoding job. You're not taking your GPU's hardware. It's already got hardware in it specifically for that. Now, does using it mean, you know, it doesn't impact the other stuff? Probably not. But we're talking about minor amounts of impact, right? Like maybe less than 1%. You know, I never really saw anything noticeable. Here's what I've got to do, by the way. I need to get this down underground. These are ugly eyesores. We're going to be erecting some buildings behind us over time. And we've got a beautiful horse course over here. So we just need to go down and move these below. And we don't even have to go that far, really. There is a question of if we're ever going to use the space down below. I don't think so. We also want to avoid that. I don't think we're even close to it, but we'll go a little bit further and then we start to hit gravel. And now all decent GPUs have those. Nvidia probably has the best one, followed by Intel's Arc. All of them are very usable these days, says Renter. Yes. Yes, exactly. So now, this stream that you're watching is coming to you through the encoder, not the GPU. So the part that does all the graphics for your game isn't really like touched or affected by this stuff because it's dedicated. It's been put in so you don't have to worry about it, right? And yeah, so since the 970, pretty much been using that stuff. And OBS was a platform that supported it really well, like in a good way. And we switched over to OBS because it was properly using the MVEC hardware, and it just meant you could hit record and you wouldn't feel the impact everywhere, right? So OBS was a big part of moving, and then that made 1080p 60 FPS pretty easy as well. So yeah, streaming rig, no. I really do think some stuff sounds good and then turns out to be useless, like assigning more RAM to Minecraft. You know, I saw a video pop up in my feed, ones that go popular in the Minecraft community tend to pop up, and it was like Minecraft with 128 gigs of RAM, and I'm like, unless you're playing a beefy mod pack that has tons of like assets that need to be in the memory, you are not going to see pretty much anything other than additional lag. Because if you look in the top right of the screen, where the memory is 3 gigabytes and we're using about 60% of it, interestingly the other day it went up to about 80, and I went, maybe I should put a bit more in here, but no. It has to flush out all the unused memory, and every time you see that percentage drop out, that's when it dumps all the empty memory. Now, it doesn't really affect the game, but it can only affect it negatively. And if you're dumping a large amount of RAM, like let's say, what would that be, 126 gigs of RAM? Like, that's actually going to decrease your performance. So sometimes stuff just doesn't work as you might suspect it would. Wait, what's going on here? Am I... yeah, okay. Dang it, making a mistake. That's okay, we'll just get more stone than we need. I don't think I'm low on cobble, but I wouldn't mind actually switching over and just making sure I pick up some cobble while we're here. Glad I thought of that. The more RAM you add, the worse it gets due to the garbage collector. That's a big lag spike if there's too much RAM. Yeah, that's the dealio with that one. One real benefit is when you try to hit top-notch quality and use CPU rendering to achieve that. I don't see why these days you would need separate streaming PC. I also think you don't see much difference on Twitch or YouTube. Yes, that's the other thing. That's the other really good point, okay? When we're talking about those 1 to 2% gains, you're then putting it onto, like, some pretty strong compression. Like, the rate at which I record with is pretty darn excellent. I don't know, maybe like Blu-ray quality footage, right? But it goes on YouTube, so it all gets lost anyway. But then, you know, I don't really need it to be that high quality, but I can record it that high quality without it impacting anything. So that's why I go for it. The only impact is maybe the space. Oh, dang it. The space of the file size. Right? And when I'm upgrading my computer, I'm doubling the amount of storage for my recordings, so, you know, it won't ever really be a problem. Not that it ever has been, it just kind of means I can hold on to it for a little bit longer. So as it currently stands, I think the PC that I have is actually pretty darn capable and consistent of, like, hanging on for 2 more years. Right? The issue is we have these just awful frame rate drops in Minecraft when you play on a world for a long time that you really have to just sort of throw muscle at. Seems to be the solution, right? Like, even with the optimization mods making things more bearable, there are places we can go, like in the Nether, where all of a sudden, your frames are tanking, it's not good. And that, to me, those moments are, again, what is the value of watching a Hermitcraft episode? You are not going, I can't believe it's 60 FPS. Right? No one thinks that when they watch a Hermitcraft episode. That's not really the value of it, and I know it. But I would like for it to perform well, at least. So yeah, I think the more I think about it, I do feel like I jumped the gun. I think I should have waited 2 more years. So it'll be interesting to hear some of your thoughts in a minute, but I'll explain a little bit more of my thinking. So, like, prices have massively inflated, so it's really expensive to buy right now. The problem is it might be even more expensive in 2 years, right? Like, it could get worse, I just don't know. I think there's a lot of incentive, possibly, for the current prices to really, like, bite Nvidia in the butt, and that may lead to, like, the next generation having a much better, like, price to performance ratio. But it could just get steeper because they could realize they can keep getting away with this, essentially, right? Like, it's how markets work. If they're putting up the price and people are still paying for it, then they might just continue doing that. And therefore, this trend could continue until something disrupts it. Or whatever data they have, whatever philosophy they're working with, they might come back and go, oh, this is a bad move. You know, the 5000 series, we've got to, you know, change tact and get these GPUs to the consumers, because a lot of people are complaining about being priced out, essentially. Right, one thing I didn't do is I didn't go and grab the beacon up top, because we could use the haste down here. Let's go grab that next. Boo! Alright, we got another noise in the air, another Prime subscription from Trim Bark Tree. I thought about it, I said it, I got it right, didn't I? I got it right. Thank you for the Prime subscription, my dude, appreciate it. Your beacon building is confusing me big time, says Purple Frog. Yeah, I hope I got it right. Let's put it like that. I hope I got it right. I was waiting for the beam to pop up, which is kind of silly because I haven't placed that yet. Did I get it right? Doesn't look like it. So I goofed up somewhere. Dang it! And I thought I hadn't. And I'd feel. Oh no, I hadn't goofed it up. It just occurred to me. Why don't you click that first, just to make sure? There we go. We're good. I'll fill this in a little bit. So I did all right. I did all right. Okay, yeah. So that's one reason. Is like maybe the pricing situation gets worse. Another reason, and this was a mistake, is I thought Windows 10 support was ending at the end of this year. It's actually the end of 2025, and by 2025 the 5000 series should be out. So maybe that should have been the wait for me. Now, I got, in doing all my research, I was using PC Part Picker, and then I just decided to put my other two machines onto the system, right? So that I could sort of take in their specs and when I got them and stuff. So I got one PC in 2012, and it lasted for 7 years to 2019. And if I had held on to this one for 2 more years, right? I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. That's pretty economic. 6 years. But now I will have a real competent backup. When I upgraded to this one and it got the 280, it kind of left the other one behind. It had a 970, and you know, if I had to fall back to using that one, it really would have been in use for, like, you know, a short amount of time while I get the other thing fixed. It would not have made good quality videos. Now I know my fallback is pretty decent. Manic Moby, thank you for the Prime subscription. Appreciate you using that on me. Peeps, if you did not know, you can use Amazon Prime to subscribe to someone on the Twitch. Doesn't have to be me, it can be whoever you like, but you get one free every month. Cowboy up, thank you for those cheers and biddies, and thank you for subscribing for 14 months as well. It's been great. I'm glad you think so. Awesome. Thank you, my dude. Fegley's here with the cheers and bits saying, hey X, we've been doing some discussion in the Discord, but what's your take on the progression with bots and AI integration, because MMOs are an experience. The first real wave of viable chat GPT integration bots to automatically farm like normal, but now bots have an integrated way, which means they can talk and discuss whilst being almost indistinguishable from a real player. What's your thought on an online environment like that, where it's becoming harder to tell who's real and who's a bot? Fegley, that is a absolutely brilliant point for us to jump into a discussion about all of that. But let's put a pin in it for a second, because I want to talk about the computer stuff, and then I got to do the iBuy stuff. So we'll come back to that. But that's a fascinating jump-off point for a discussion, no doubt. So sorry to like linger on this computer stuff so much, but like, I think I have a problem. And my problem is that I always have like a sort of like mental to-do list. There's always something you got to chip away at. And when I think I've got a decision in front of me, sometimes like I make a big deal out of it, and I kind of like don't like having to make the decision, and therefore make it kind of quick. Which is what I did with this one. I was just like, oh, I'm sick of thinking about this, just do it. Right? Like, that's kind of what it came down to. And you got to let go. In life, you make mistakes. Like, I'm making this weird, silly silliness in my head about, oh, this PC should last 2 more years. Okay, maybe it could have, but like, I do use a computer for my job constantly, so maybe give myself a break on this one. Oh my god, I don't have my I don't really want to destroy the terrain around here. I don't have my ender pearls either. Where did I think I might have left them over at the nether farm, actually. The bed and the ender pearls. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, this thing like quickly became a bit of like an annoyance in my mind. Should I do it? Should I not? And I probably made up my mind way too hastily. But yes, thinking that Windows 10 support was going to end pushed me over the edge a little bit. And the other thing that pushed me over the edge is that this year we're getting 2 games that I really just want to like indulge in, and that is City Skylines 2 and Diablo 4. I would love to just, you know, really get into those games, and I can basically do that on this new PC in like another level, right? Because it will just be top-notch graphics and all that. So that was another sort of justification for it. Now, what I noticed when I was looking up at the specs and stuff is that the 490 is like a massive, massive jump, though. Like, it really is a beastly jump up compared to some previous generations. So that's going for it, I guess. Let's put a couple of markers here. I would be going from like my 2012 PC was DDR3. Then the next one was 4. This one will be 5 with a really fast clock speed. And then it's like another 4 generations of Intel. This is probably the last thing that's been weighing on my mind a little bit. Is that quite a few, I say quite a few, I think 3 other Hermits that have AMD CPUs are not having frame rate issues. And I don't know if it's because like I am using an older CPU, or if it's just that AMD is doing better with Minecraft, but I decided to stick with Intel mainly because it's just what I know, right? Like, I've used Intel for a long time. I'm not a like fan, what you might call it, fanboy, or just sort of I'm Club Intel or whatever. I don't think about stuff that way. I don't have loyalty. I'm just familiar with it. It's just what I know, and so I'm hoping that the jump up with this i13 generation of Intel processor will do the job, you know. But I kind of know that the AMD one will definitely do it, and I'm sort of thinking again, if I'd have taken a little bit more time making up my mind, which seems to be something I don't enjoy. Like, I just like things to be done and finished. Like, sick of making decisions. Yeah, I reckon maybe going with AMD might have been smarter, but I might get the computer, I've got some of the parts already, I might install it, fire up Minecraft, and everything's great. And like, oh, well, okay, don't have to worry about that then. So Rabid Locus, oh, sorry, Lorax says, AMD is better pretty much every front except single-threaded core performance. Yeah, and that's why I decided to stick with them, because that's the reason we run Hermitcraft on a Intel processor. It's the reason that I got the i9, which we're currently using, is because Minecraft is not optimized for multi-core processing. It's running on Java, and I don't know if that's changed much over the years with the optimizations that each update will inherently bring. But if that holds true, then in theory the Intel processor should do better. And I didn't really factor in other games, right? Like, I didn't think, oh, what other games am I going to play? Like, should I get an AMD for those? I was just thinking that Nether Hub, those Minecraft frame rates, I want it silky smooth, you know? So along with all of that, I also got me some M2s that take advantage of PCI 5, so potential performance gains there. That's really just related probably to loading times. So got a M2 for the operating system, which is going to be Windows 11, by the way. Gonna upgrade, even though I don't really like it much. I'll get used to it. You know, it's just change can be annoying. Then I've got two other, is it two other M2s? Yeah, one for recording, and then one that I'm going to split between my music drive for music production and my things like Steam games and a few other applications like Minecraft. Because the logic there is like, if I split it, I'm not really going to be using like loading games and stuff from one half of it while I'm using the other. Like, they're two separate tasks, so them sharing the M2 drive for storage makes a lot of sense. So that's kind of the setup I'm going with at the moment. And the thing that I need to now know from you is, like, what do you think? Cybot thinks the 490 would be wasted on 1080p 90Hz monitors. Well, I'm on 1080p 60Hz. I probably won't upgrade to 4K. It seems utterly pointless to me. Maybe maybe 60 Hz. I might see a little better on 90 Hz. Potentially it is wasted. I never know. I just sick of trying to figure out and all the umming and ahhing and will it, won't it? Am I buying the wrong thing or the right thing? I just, you know, sort of throw the kitchen sink at it kind of approach. Right, this is the best stuff. Let's hope it does what I need it to do. It's kind of my attitude. Not economical, maybe not the best decision-making process, but I don't know, maybe that's just where my head was at. Just not in the mood for all of that. Like, I like these periods of like stasis where there's very little like responsibility and maintenance in life, and you're just kind of like doing things day to day without this like list of stuff that you need to take care of all the time. I think I just want a bit more of that sometimes. So I wasn't too keen on, like, you know, constantly putting time into researching and trying to figure all this stuff out. So AMD's single core performance is now really good, up there with Intel for less price. Yes, but not edging out Intel just yet though, right? Better in terms of price, but still not edging them out. I got a feeling next generation it could be AMD, because when I say next generation, I mean like the next computer, like hopefully like 6 or 7 years away. The 490 will never reach its full potential at 1080 because it will be CPU limited at that resolution, says Killed by Cheese. Well, luckily I got a good CPU to go with it, right? Maybe I could get a new monitor to try and take advantage of it at some point, but for now I'm pretty good. The issue with me and the monitors is that, like, the higher resolutions, they're awful to look at when everything on the screen goes small and you're like squinting and the scaling doesn't work. Given your monitors and the CPU, I think it is a bad choice of components. I do like the M2 storage, however. I have gone M2 only. Yeah, I mean, it's a bad choice in you're saying it's bad in terms of being economical, right? Like, maybe I should have put a 480 in it or something. I guess my thinking was just I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to like build this new PC and find out, oh look, you know, the thing I'm trying to fix isn't fixed. I mean, there's the possibility I could maybe send back the 490 and say send me a 480. I don't know. I don't know. It's more hassle. Would the 480 be good? I really don't know. On Windows you can scale the UI to avoid the UI, says Kernel. Yeah, I'm aware of that. It's just it doesn't always, in my experience, pan out quite how you want. Cybot says I would have gone 480 and lower and AMD 7950. Yeah, that seemed to be the one. Oh well, you know. I'm sure it'll be fine if it works. That's a good point. The 490, you'll have it for years to come, says Easy Wasp. Yeah, like maybe it's not the best thing right now, but maybe it'll become more beneficial in the future. Who knows? Cybot says, I have a 4K 48-inch and I don't need to scale the UI. I couldn't imagine sitting in front of a 48. Oh my god! I saw it and then it was right there. I couldn't imagine sitting that close to, like, well, not close. Obviously, you create the distance correctly, right? But I don't know. It just seems absurd to me. The thing is, I can't really like test what that is like, which is what you need to do. You need to figure out, does this work for me? And it feels like buying a massive 4K monitor just to see if you like it or not is a bit wild. It could be really great. That's what I'm kind of saying. It's just having not had a setup where it's like ginormous screen, massive resolution before. It just feels like a bit of a roll of the dice. Anyways, you know, it might be that in a couple of years I decide to change the monitor setup and then it all gets taken advantage of. 1440p is still considered the sweet spot for cost against looks. Yeah. I'm also, just the amount of upgrading and stuff all the time. Like, I really like making stuff last. I made my old monitors last a really long time. I'm making these ones last as well. I get a bit of satisfaction out of that. Anyway, I think it's time for me to move on. I can feel my brain getting like a bit neurotic now about all the decision making, right? This is my problem. My brain starts to like spin around. Should have done this, should have done that, and we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it be, I think. It's done now. I'm gonna build a beast. Nomadic Nova says, this is why I told my partner yesterday it's worthwhile to take your time when deciding to buy a PC. It's a massive investment and there's so many factors to consider. Yep. 100% right there. I just seem to not have the tolerance for decision making as of late. Seems to be my issue. Right, plenty of iron supplied. Ah, remember this chest? One of my goals is to keep it healthily stocked. And I think cobblestone and stone are in order, but mainly cobble. Just because I've been doing some crafting on the road and finding that useful. You know, comes in good every now and then to make sure you got some cobble lined up. We used it earlier in the stream, didn't we? Literally. Avarice UK, thank you for the prime. Stupid Llamas, thank you for the prime. Act Eva Lamon, thank you for another prime. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Excuse me. Oh gosh, burping. Not good on stream, not good. Mouth burps, you know, trying to hold them in. Is a computer you have two components you need to invest that will last for a long time is the PSU and the display. It's got like 1200 PSU. And the display is just going to be the same display I got right here, which is my triple... I was about to say 1080, they're not. They're 1920 1200, yeah. I always liked that because games used to play in 1080p and then you could still see the taskbar. And like, you could see what time it is, you could see if someone was messaging you. And so I like to stick with that resolution. You don't have to play Minecraft full screen. You can see other stuff on it, which is good. In some ways, I think it makes sense to overbuy with technology, especially when it's how you make your living. You never know what game upgrades will require of your devices, says Artemis the Saint. Yep, that's the other thing as well, like very future-proof conscious, right? Just upgrading my PC and using the same Momo RAM case and PSU when I built my first one 5 years ago. Love having things for years. Yeah, you know, that would be me if this weren't my job, right? I would definitely be way more economical with stuff. The The other thing was there was an option to upgrade my current PC that I'm using, but it was just to double the RAM, and I really didn't need it. I just noticed that the RAM, I was using more than I thought I would at one point in time. I had like 2 Minecrafts open and doing a bunch of other stuff, and it was only like just over halfway using the RAM as well. I kind of thought, ooh, would a bit more benefit. I looked into if my motherboard was quad memory, right? So it's dual memory, and it seems like quad memory isn't really like there yet. I was trying to look up some motherboards that supported it, and it really seemed a bit odd. You also had to have a CPU that supported it, and it just didn't really feel like a thing yet. Right, so as I showed you earlier, we have this access, right? Now, what I want to do is create a system that revolves around how much stock we have. And I don't know quite how to execute this idea, but it's going to be more of a visual thing where we remind ourselves of what farms we have. So when I come over here, it's like I can create a job in my mind of what to do. Like, oh, I need to go and use that farm because we're low on this thing. Over on this side, this might be quite simple because we can give ourselves a threshold that we can stick to. So as you can see, we've got hoppers here. I can put comparators right there, and I can put like a sign, or I could put an item frame with the item up above. So at a glance, I can come over here and essentially suss out what I need to go and farm. Which this doesn't, I believe it doesn't interfere with anything. I hope not. Like, it's technically above this stuff. I mean, sod's law, it's going to be like, if you take out like the one box, the customer does, and then it updates this, and that updates that, at just the wrong time, and it all breaks. You know, fingers crossed it doesn't do that, because we got a nice little view here of what's in stock. So, if I decide, oh actually, maybe we should go get some bones stocked up, we have the means to do that. Now, I could use item frames out here, but item frames have an impact on the game's performance. So I think it makes sense to use signs back here. Let's go ahead, let's go dark oak on this. So like, we know that this is ice. And then we got some colourful stuff along with us too, haven't we? Like, let's go pink and glow ink. Pink and glow ink, it rhymes. Beautiful, very readable. Very legible, that's the word we're looking for. Right, just having to read the chat, by the way. I'm going to have a sip on the water. I've, you know, I always say hydrate, but I've been experimenting and trying to like up my sleep at the moment, and it has worked pretty well. But I'm trying to drink less towards the evening. I don't know how it's working out. You need to do stuff over a longer term, I think. And last night, awful. Woke up at like 3 and just kind of knew I wasn't getting back to sleep. Laid around for hours. Ugh, it weren't nice. By the way, 1,200 peeps tuned in. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with me on this fine Tuesday evening. Hope y'all are doing good. By the way, I have also installed some blackout material onto the window closest to me, and it wasn't really sunny enough to know it was working today, but there were moments when the sun came through. Oh yeah, that was gravel. Okay. Okay, got those. Just remembered that the wrong way around. There were moments where the sun shone through, and it didn't have quite as big an effect as I hoped it would, but it definitely reduced the glare that hits the screen here, and I could add more blackout material, but I think the size of the other windows means I'm probably going to make the room too dark, so I won't rush to do anything and just see how it pans out. Now there's this amazing quote that every time I hear it, I'm always like, that's great, yeah, that's great, that is, and it's measure twice, cut once. I did not measure twice and cut once. I would like to be the sort of person that remembers something like that. Apparently I am not. Because I don't know how I did it, but I managed to make my first cut 20 centimeters bigger. If I'd have made it smaller, that would have been a real bummer because I would have to have thrown more materials away, but because I made it bigger, it meant that I could cut down the material I already had and then add a couple of extra of these Velcro strips. Now, when you buy this material, they give you a big, like, lot of material, but not the option to buy extra attachments for sticking it to, like, the window. It's like, it uses Velcro and adhesive, right? I don't know what we're calling these things, but it'd be nice if you could buy a little pack, because I kind of want to cut the material up a lot, and therefore I'm going to use a lot of those things. And so I'm going to end up buying 2 packs of it and not really using much of the material because I'm just using it for the little Velcro adhesives. I always measure multiple times. I can't trust my eyes, says Blue Raven. Yeah. I'm always trying to get, like, my thing of late has really been to just constantly try and do better. And, like, you know, I pat myself on the back if it's like, that was a good idea. You thought ahead a little bit, and, you know, you double check that decision or whatever, and you did good, right? That's all great, but then the moments where I miss it, it's like, man, I want to do better. So, like, I really want to remember that. Next time, it's like, measure twice. I want to drill these things into my head. I don't know how you achieve that, though. So, this is giving me, like, an idea of what I need to do. Like, I could probably do with more AFK time at the bone farm just to stock it up. So, now on my AFK list, actually, I'm not going to write it now. I was going to write it down, but it doesn't need to be done. I can come over here and assert that, oh yeah, I should probably keep the bones stocked up, right? Flowerlog says, I've been trying to use biphasic sleep, 2 sleep pattern segments a day, and so far it's been pretty okay. I may be misremembering this, but I do believe that the data shows that sleeping in 2 separate sections is really bad for you, in terms of lowering the quality of your sleep pretty drastically. It's been a long time since I've dived into any, like, sleep-related learning material. I say a long time. I was actually revising some stuff recently because I've been trying to improve my sleep. But when I first found it, it was like, you know, 2-hour-long podcasts and then, you know, multiple of those and really trying to get these ideas in. I'm pretty sure that biphasic sleep is not a thing they recommend to do at all. Typically, Thomas says you couldn't be more wrong about that, X. As I remember it, I could be wrong, is what I'm saying. But it just seems to ring a bell that I heard that, and I was like, okay, don't do that. Big Popper House, 34 months. Lightly Lucid, 7 months. Loose Rain, 1 month. K-Dads, 56. Sir Ripov Maple, 5 months. These are all people that have been gifted subs by King, Claw, Blazer. Thank you again, my dude, for gifting more subs. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you for supporting our community, and I hope you enjoy today's stream. Xisuma, use a marker and write it on your tape measure, and drill measure twice, cut once. That's a terrific idea. They should make tape measure with that. If I just see it more, it will naturally get in there. Like, some of my favourite ideas that I try and live to, it's just about repeated exposure to it. Like, one of them is, like, always trying to be your best self. Like, try and catch yourself when you take that lazy option, or you maybe you're not treating someone as best as you could. Like, we all have those weird impulses to sort of be a bit lazy and take things for granted. I think it's just like, sometimes you convince yourself it's easier to do things that way or whatever. And then I get annoyed when I catch myself doing it. I'm like, that's not me, like, doing as best as I could, right? You know what? I actually think the system over here could literally be looking into these chests. So what we probably need, I thought about this earlier, and I had this idea of, like, either creating like a visual, actually I really like this idea, like a visual system where you have, like, what if you vertically stacked these shulker boxes to sort of tell yourself, oh, we've got that many boxes of the supply, and then you have an item frame with the thing in. The only issue there is oh, I guess I could use signs again, right? Like, I don't want to put item frames in areas that aren't really, like, for other people to enjoy. So, like, but then over here, we've got an absolute crazy amount. So maybe what we could do is have, like, a barrel for overflow, and then we put shulker boxes above it, and then we have a sign telling us what material is. So I wanted to create a bit more of a visual experience where you come down here and you see what you need to do. Obviously, I would be stocking this stuff up myself. I've just realized that I've kind of like missed a big component of this, which is that I was going to write the farm names down. And in 1.20 we can right click on signs to edit them. So I might go and redo those signs that we just did. Literally, like, also put the farm on it so you don't really have to think much. So I could come over here, and as I see what stock is low, I think about what farm it is. And I think some of this might be driven by being in the world and thinking, what farms do I have and what ones should I be using? And I'm not sure what the answer is. I've got a weird feeling, though, it might be redundant here, because once you're looking at the material, it makes it much easier for you to connect. Like, oh, redstone, I need to go to the witch farm, right? But we'll give it a try. I think what we'll do is we'll create like a secondary sign that tells us what the shop is, or something like that. So, yeah, that's kind of my plan for this area. I also thought if we, rebuilding this redstone might be an option. If I made... Should we do a little bit of... Let's do a live jam. Let's do some jam. Jam sandwich. Come on. We'll do it in a test world because it would be much more interesting this way. Jolkip. Thank you for 90 months. 90 months, that's like 9 metric years. Metric year. Ah, no. Okay, I can't go back on the Hermitcraft. I have to actually restart. Okay, so I was like... Oh, but then I got to restart the launcher. Also, annoying thing, right? Sometimes when you close the Minecraft launcher, it still runs in the background, which is what it's doing right now. So I need to close it through Task Manager because it won't actually refresh my login token. And do you know what that means? You boot it up, you go back into the game, and then it's like, oh, it didn't work. By the way, while there's nothing on the screen, I'll throw on an animation to keep you entertained, because otherwise you're going to tune out. You're going to be like, I'm not listening to this man waffle while there's nothing going on the screen. That's just not how I roll. 90 months is wild, says Flawless Like Songe. It is, and we're approaching some 100 months here and there as well. Curls, thank you ever so much for gifting a sub to Sound Wave, Hope. Oh, we got there in the end. Thank you for supporting our community as always, Curls. Appreciate all you do. And Soundwave Hope, be sure to say thanks in the chat. You probably already did it. Right, so let's discuss the idea a little bit. I did think this through at another point in time, and I'm just not sure where I got with it. I kind of don't want to delete anything I've already built, so let's like come over here and imagine. So we need let's clear this hotbar. Right, let's be smart about this. Pistons, these things are all in the area. We're going to need them, and a sticky piston too. So we have our shulker box here, and when this thing is powered, can't open it, right? Well, in that case we can, but we can imagine that we can't. The same thing can happen if this is a sticky piston. With a block. Except, you can also read the contents with a comparator. So I can create like a little redstone signal to tell me how much is in there. Now these are going to be tiled side by side. And the unfortunate thing about that is that most of the time this is going to be full. Actually, it's not that unfortunate, because when it gets mostly empty, the signal strength will be lower. But then we're going to be dealing with signal strength bleeding from one thing to the other. So it's not until it's empty that you could have a lamp here that turns off when that's empty, if you see my logic. So we added a thing here to let me access everything. We could potentially add something that means every shulker box is blocked, and then we can read the signal from the other side. So this is where I get stuck, I believe. For in order to have 8 of these side by side and have some sort of signal deduction going on, you end up with a bunch of bulky stuff like this, right? So, you know, this one's got the signal strength pointing in here, this one's got it pointing in there, something like that, right? And then maybe you've got a lamp there. When the lamp turns off, you then know, oh, there's only a few items left. Okay. You're with me on this, right, chat? You're with me. Tell me if you're with me. I feel like I'm doing a good job explaining. Now, we also have to build in this circuit, which I don't think would be too difficult to control that piston, because it all just sits below this level. Then I guess we duplicate the same circuit above all of this to control what's going on at the top. So I actually think it's a totally doable bit of redstone. Only if this bit here with the comparators could be compacted. Flowerlog is very much following. I don't know what this game is, says Ryan90. It's Minecraft. Couldn't you fill a chest with shulkers of items, then wire a comparator to the chest? No. I feel like, Thegley, I feel like you're suggesting something that's just unrelated to what we're trying to do. I could be wrong. What if you point the comparator into a block with a redstone torch? Okay, so, yeah. So the problem with that is that, you know, that's the same as doing a lamp, okay? We will detect when this is empty over here. Just so it's like a little clearer, let's go ahead, imagine it's in the correct position and that there's items in here, right? Now, when that's empty, this will turn on. Same thing as that block being a lamp. The problem is we have diamonds in here. It's never going to be truly empty. And we don't actually want to know when it's empty, we want to know when there's some stock missing. So for that reason, we want to do signal strength comparison, right? So if I put a relatively strong signal into here, it would tell us that the container behind us has had a handful of stacks taken out of it. And that's when we want to go and refill it. We want to keep it, you know, we don't want to refill it when it's empty, we want to refill it as people take stuff out of it. So this is where the idea breaks down a little bit, because the comparators are side by side, and therefore they can't really have like signal strength pointing into them unless you pull them like all the way out here, which could be a possibility, but it's just horribly inefficient. This gives me space to run a signal in here that then turns this off when we've only taken out a few items. The one next to it can do the same thing again. We can have our lamp here. We can compare signal at that point there, right? In fact, if we just copy that layout, you'll get a sense of the scale that we can operate at. In fact, I should really get the redstone torch, sorry, redstone lamp in place so it's a little bit more obvious what we're doing here. So you're looking at something, 1, 2, where am I missing one? There? No? Why does that now all of a sudden seem wrong? Is it because I have one extra comparator there? Yeah. So that's one half of it. And then effectively the other half could be mirrored, except this hard powers that lamp. So at the end here you would need to soft power it. So you could have them separate, right? Because otherwise that one turns on. So that would be your literal layout to make this happen. I'm almost thinking it's not the worst thing ever, but like I might build it up just to show it off in an episode for fun. Cybot asks, for which signal strength should a lamp be lit? 14 and below? Yeah, I reckon 14's not bad, but you just use a lectern, right? So maybe 13? It depends how much of a difference it makes. We can actually, is there like a lectern I can borrow? I feel like I need to get this saved on there needs to be a command where I'm just like give lectern and all this is already done. But it's actually like super simple to set up. You just click down here, you put something on the last page and click done. So let's do a quick test, and then we'll get back on Hermitcraft, because we're not going to pursue this idea on there realistically. It's just a fun little thing to do. So if I go here and put in that book, and we turn this to page 14. Right, we're now reading the contents of this shulker box, right? And there's our output. So as we take out a stack, it doesn't go down. Right, here's the thing though. That would be a diamond. Like that, and then you would take... So that would detect one stack. I think it would make sense to go down a signal strength. So when 3 stacks are missing, then you would get this thing here update. Is everyone following that? Did I do good? Let me know. Come on. I got a little lost. Why use comparators instead of repeaters, says Shinny? Because of signal strength. Repeaters would just create full signal strength, and we wouldn't be able to make use of that. Point the comparator into a block, and you will have 3 sides to put redstone dust so it doesn't interfere when tiled. I'm not sure if I don't want to actually delete too much of this. 3 sides in which to... I don't quite see it. No, I don't see anything there that means... I think they have to be tiled like this. Anyway, I'm going to build it just for fun. Like, that's something I've been trying to do lately, is just follow your nose a little bit more. Just have fun. Yeah, I'm probably not going to end up building it on here, but like, let's just enjoy some redstone. Nimajaneb EC, thank you so much for your Amazon Prime subscription. It is appreciated, and I hope you enjoy today's Liggity live stream. It's a Liggity live stream, okay? Okay, so in terms of us creating this layout, I'm starting to wonder, is it really worth the effort? Because I pretty much want to do everything from this chest, right? I just want to make it visual. I wonder if there's like a middle ground here. Because otherwise I go over here to pick up the lever and bring it all the way over there. Maybe... Yeah, maybe I do have the wrong idea about this. Does it make sense to you, chat? Like, if I build something visual, which is kind of like where I wanted to go with this one, is to have a bit of fun, it does mean I have to walk back and forth a lot more, whereas the chest here is like, I already put it there because it's, it's close to where we need to do our restocking, so... Like, now it's like this. I wonder if the other thing I just showed is the way to go. Like, how far back would that redstone go? It would go probably a little bit further than this. But then on top of each of those lamps, I could put a sign or an item frame with the thing we need to stock up. But then in terms of height, you see, it needs to go both lower and higher. So... I think like at least 2 blocks down in that direction and at least 1 or 2 blocks, they would totally collide. So they couldn't be stacked on top of each other. Unless there was another way to like bring the signal around to here. Because that idea that I just showed you is technically better, I think. So what's the distance? Like the top of this has, is that just 2 blocks? Yeah, that's pretty much 2 blocks. I wonder if it's possible. Here's the thing. You got to go around this. I was kind of thinking like something could loop over the back to the top. And maybe there is a way in which you run like a group of blocks through here, and there's another way to push the signal through. I don't know. But how much lower is that? So we lose 1 block down, like so. There's no way of avoiding that. And we said we got a 2 block gap. So then the height over here is that, and the most you could have is 1 more than so. Oh, maybe it is doable, because you could put all of the redstone that you need for that circuit at that level. This might actually be doable. And then you could technically fit it down here, right? Like, how does that work in terms of... Yeah, that actually works. Does that actually work? I think it might work. Huh. We can measure the signal strength with a phantom inventory setup, but that just extends it in the y-axis more than the XR. I do not know what a phantom... I've never heard of that before, a phantom thing. Let's just engineer this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, let's just make this thing. So, let's go pos 1, then all the way over the back here, down there, pos 2. Let's give it expand 20 blocks and then stack by 1. That's more than enough space. And now we're working all the way over here. Right, so let's get our 8 sticky pistons in place. Do we get to keep the aesthetic at the front the same? That's another important thing. So we have our lamps, at this level. Our shulker boxes placed the wrong way around there. Then we have that ring of blocks. Okay, so that would be in the correct space. Down at this level, you'd have a repeater. I'm getting as much of a single section done as I can. Then you would have a piece of redstone here and a piece of redstone there. Like redstone, redstone. Get rid of that. Okay, so far so good. And maybe you want that 1 block lower. Like, I might find out that, oh, actually, this all needed to be 1 block lower. And if it were, would it obscure the view of these lamps? It would also probably power them. So maybe we put them down by 1 but make them slabs, just to be on the safe side. So at this level here, we're going to do the same thing again. Yeah, since this is the very first one, we would be comparing from that position. So let's get this a bit tidier, right? Like, these slabs are actually probably going to be a little closer. Okay. We're doing redstone. We're doing it live. So the trick here is that we have to invert on this one, which means that the redstone that we're putting, if we put it at that level, we have redstone at this level, so it's slightly higher overall. Don't know if it interferes. But if we put it at that level, then we have to use a target block at that level. Yeah, let's try and keep it slim. And then we have our torch, and then we have our repeater. That looks like it fits. Oh, did I not select it? Okay, so that is like one segment. Let's go ahead. I am glad we came and double checked this actually, because it's like, oh, this might just work. Right, now we need to stack that by 7. This is interesting. Okay. This one's also going to need like a signal deduction there. Can you see how it's coming together, right? As compact as can be. Now we don't need any of this. Well, we still do, in a ways. Uh-huh. Dang it, I can't fit in here. Hey, I'm learning here. My redstone is a mess. Stretching out for miles, says Lehindler. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. If you understand, like, why it works and how it works, like, compacting can come later. Getting the fundamentals down is what's important. Like, understanding various sorts of logic, signal flow, why you're the signal state, why it needs to invert sometimes, logic gates, like, all of that stuff is necessary. But like the compactness, Don't worry about that. Like, that'll come with time. You'll pick up the tricks along the way. So look at this. This is potentially like it. And remember, we needed that soft power at the end, so we do that. It's not as crazy big as I thought it would be. I'm actually quite like intrigued now. I think I might build this on Hermitcraft if it works out. Okay. Oh, there was also a trick that Cybot used, which was, you see, this is extending the signal strength by 1, whereas actually you could just put a block here. So we'll go ahead and use that. I've just got to remember the mechanics of this. It was really funny. I was like trying to find the circuit that I remembered, and then I found my own video on it, and I was like, oh, thanks, X. That's helpful. Okay, so we had the one there on compare mode, right? And then the trick was to actually put a full block there, and then that means you can leave the signal as such. Then our input is here, right? And I modified this stuff last minute. I didn't actually talk about it in the episode now that I think about it. I modified this. Can we make that work on 2 levels? It's like a little switch for me. You know what? I actually only need it on the bottom level. It's a way for me to go in and restock these things from this side, which if I turn those into slabs, that makes that even easier, right? Okay, let's get the redstone down the bottom, because I'm waffling and going all over the place a little bit. Yeah, that looks right. Compare, and then that's the input, and then we'll put that there. Interesting. Shouldn't it turn all of them, or is that... No, there should always be one off. I just had this idea that we could... Yeah, we want to turn all of them off. I had this weird idea that I'd be flipping the logic for something there. I don't know why, but it's the same logic. Let's, yeah, we haven't got a sticky piston up there, which also increases, like, the footprint a little bit, which we don't want to do. So I'll be able to power that. And then how did I do it over here? I think I extended it. Yeah, look, I added a repeater. So we'll do the same thing here, actually. Right, and then that just means you don't have, like, some extra redstone wires lying around. You are just powering them from the same block. Let's go ahead and do that. You need to extend it by 2 signal strength. I did that so the one inverted signal has the same decay as the normal one. Oh, okay. In which case, I will just turn it back to what I know and experiment with that later, because I feel like I'd understand what you're saying if I just messed around with it a bit, and then I'd be like, oh, I see. But as I currently am not quite there, I will leave it be. So we get to keep our little utility thing here, where I just can do that. Pull all of those down, and then we can access everything there. And currently it's all turned off. So did I actually make a mistake here? Like, that is on compare. Does this normally have, like... Yeah, it would normally have a default signal strength of 1. Because it's got 0. Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Okay. So now what we need to do is get our signal strength into 2 places. One of them will be pointing into that block, and the other one will be up here. And they need to arrive with full signal strength. I'm a bit worried about this getting bub powered. That's kind of annoying. Technically, I think we can run that there, except this would have to be a block because there is a redstone torch next to it. Otherwise, it would connect to the wire. We're going to have a lectern there, is something to consider on that block. So technically, we can squeeze... Again, we're getting close to bub powering. And if I move that over here, like... Doesn't really make sense. I wonder if there's a way something here could like interact with both of those things. I love that he's doing this all when he has the shulker inventory mod. Yeah, it's super helpful. I've been using it a lot with the redstone. Matt Zabu, thank you ever so much for 52 months, my dude. Greatly appreciated. And I hope you enjoyed today's stream. He's complicating it by trying to get it tileable. That didn't work, so we're going this way. Well, it has to be tileable because of the nature of the shop. We can't change the shop design, so am I making it complicated or have I just found a solution? I found a solution. There might be a better one, but I don't know what that is. This is a pretty darn compact. Well, I mean, as compact as can be, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think I've done pretty good there. Okay. It's just the wiring up of this. This is getting in the way. Could I can't switch it because of the way sticky pistons work with a powered block above them. Could I use a full composter? Does that give out full signal strength? I'm not sure. I could move it further back and then have like a repeater interject after the thing here. You could replace some of the comparators with full blocks. That's true, but that's just yeah, I'll do that. That makes sense. But that's really like I could have some full blocks in there. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're getting at. That's something to remember. You might have to push it out by one. Yeah, I might. Maybe we should just wire it and then worry about it later, kind of thing. So you just start somewhere instead of nowhere kind of attitude, right? Like, let's get an idea for this because we need, right, you need that there and you need this here. So that allows you to wiggle this around a little bit. So that could be a slab. Yeah, you see, now start placing blocks. It don't look... Oh, I'll tell you what. We're limited on space in terms of width, aren't we? Ah. We are limited in terms of space on the width. No piston, dust and torch instead. Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see that, Cybot. I do not know. I do not know. So, the maximum distance we can go with this, really, we're obviously going to have to keep that there. So, it's like 1, 2, 3. We've got, like, 2 extra blocks of wiggle room off from where our sticky pistons are. Let's mark that by putting these here. And they're not overextended. Let's also remember that we have the additional obligation of our signal strength starting here. Now, the idea that Cybot just suggested is that in order to... Right, yeah, we're trying to disconnect this. Oh, I'm not quite sure now. I think the idea would be that you put full signal strength there. And then you have a torch somewhere, like a torch that points into this block. And then maybe a repeater pointing into that one. So I don't know quite how with dust, but that, my friends, should give us the option with a lever if we just put a bit of dust here. Or even just a block, right? But dust for now. No, that's... this was supposed to point into the side of that thing. I got a little confused somewhere along the way. Or, wait. That. That's... Wait, I never need... No, hang on. This would always have signal strength in it. So let's pretend that it's got, like, signal strength in it. That's where I'm going wrong. So if that were on compare mode, which it doesn't... Yeah, it's not actually going to ever be that strong. So let's bring it back by 1. Now, shouldn't... Oh, no, it needs to be inverted. Ah, I'm almost there, peeps. I'm almost there. This is where the dust comes in. So, like... The dust, though, it wants to point into the side of that is the issue. Maybe we come back to that in a minute. Let's just look at how close this could be, because if we don't do it with pistons, you want... that's okay. But now you need to preserve that signal strength with a comparator. Yeah, that's doable. And then we want to do the same thing going down. Possibly with the same sort of layout. I don't know. I like the delays to be equal. So you'd have redstone here. Something's got to change down the bottom. Nah, that don't feel right. Comparator where the dust is in between the repeater and the other comparator. That's just, I don't know, impossible to diagnose. There's so many comparators and dust. I mean, I think you mean that one. What are we saying? What are we saying? Like, that needs... Wait, can that just be... This thing needs full signal strength. If we have it for a repeater, are we saying that that does the job? If this isn't full, which it doesn't... Does it have to be full? Oh, now I've got a feeling we're messing with something here. Nah, I'm not getting the hang of this. I'm not getting the hang of it at all. We'll come back to that. I want to make these inputs equal, right? So we need one more comparator before it gets to that, which we currently don't have. Also, no, there's going to be a lectern there. That stays. Okay. Cybot, like, instructions are really difficult because I get them after I've moved around and things have changed. Oh, we are so close. We are so close to this contraption. It's just a few more blocks to suss out. Let's put some things back in place. It's this bit here. Like, how did we do that before? That was easy. The issue is it has to go low where it used to just go straight out. I guess maybe you can power it from the side like that, and then you need to cut it off, and then you could have... It's all kind of awkward. Then, like, comparator and... almost. A lot of almost here. Go on, show us how it's done. I can see how that will... Oh, wait, what's going on now? I'm waiting for the dramatic log out now. It's like, bye! No, that's awesome, thank you. Dang it! There it is, there's the dramatic log out. Well, no, that's all correct, isn't it? Well, I've got to obviously come in here and replace these blocks a little bit. Wow, okay, so, because this goes out an extra one, by putting a block there, you see that does mean that signal strength... Okay, so the difference of the signal strength is carried onto that. That's why that works. And then this here just means... I think it's the same as having a comparator there and a piece of redstone here. And then, yeah, this overrides all of the redstone and turns it all off. Wow. Right, final component. Oh my god, it's been a slog to get here, hasn't it? An item frame with an item frame. So, select 1, 2. It sounds to me like they're pretty well synced. Not that... I don't think my previous ones were exquisitely synced or anything. Right, let's go put in the lecterns. Are we missing some redstone? We are. Just a little bit. Right, what do y'all think? I'm not super sure it works, actually. Better test it fully. Okay. What do y'all think, though? Something's off. Did I add in an extra... Yeah, look. How did I do that? That's not very good. We added in extra redstone. Extra unnecessary redstone. Right, we've got to put in lecterns, then test. If I grab the one over here, let's check what page it was set to. Oh, did I get rid of it? Dang! What did I say about the lectern earlier? I don't even have it. I have to remake this and the book. Cybot, thank you for saving us again. Always appreciated. I get close. I get close. I want to get better. I keep doing the redstone. Getting a little bit better at the time each time. Okay, so let's say we're going to set that to 13. And then it should place down with the book. Yep. Then we need to put the ones in front on subtract mode. And this might be what I build on Hermitcraft now. Like, crazy. Okay, so this one here, right in the middle. Remember, it's going to have all of these items for sale. Not comparators, though. And then it's going to have those diamonds in the middle. Right, fully stocked, not an issue. Didn't we say 3 stacks? So when I take out this next stack... No? Hang on a second. Oh! The one that's open, it's not an... Ah, there's a slight oversight. Interesting. Now, we have this for restock mode. We need check mode. Check mode is luckily really easy. Check mode is like that. Uh-huh. So now I can't open this one, right? But did I get that wrong then? So I can't open it because we're in check mode, which I might activate with like a pressure plate or something. And... okay, maybe it was more than 3. I could have swore we tested it and it was 3. Okay, now I'm slightly worried. Are we getting... oh, again, I need to be in check mode. Right. Okay, the signal is coming out. Maybe it... page 13. Okay, okay. Right, so the process for me at the moment is to come over here, take out more items, come back there. I missed something. Is it supposed to be on when it's stocked? I think it's a signal strength thing. Now it'll be on, right? When we come over here and we check the stock. Yes. Okay, so it's the other way around. It's when they turn off. Got it. Got it. It's when they turn off. So when the lamp turns off, that's when. Yeah. Now, for me to have this additional check mode and to make it like... I don't want to add... oh, I don't have to add extra because... what am I thinking? I can just put a repeater there. Yeah. I didn't want to add extra depth. So when I need to check, like, I can just come out here, stand on a pressure plate. Right, all this stuff needs properly testing and I'm going to do it later, but, you know, I stand here and now I know which ones, you know, do... oh, that's interesting. Oh, it's still the one that's selected. Wally. Yeah, so there you go. It turns on, but one of them will always be not on, so I have to stand on a pressure plate to find out. I like this little contraption. I'm going to think over how it works a little bit more. Yes, yes I will. The lecture should be set to 2 or 3 or something. It depends which way around I want it to work. If I want the lamps on to tell me that I need to restock, then yes. If I want the lamps off when they run out, then no. Right? I'll think it over and figure out which way I prefer. So after all of that, we'll have the means. See, I was going to come back here and write down which farm it is for each thing. But now that we might be rebuilding this with a new design, I've got to come back here and just think it again. So the layout here kind of means if I'm standing in this area, maybe I want to turn around and have access to barrels like that line up with the lamp that I'm looking at. It's a shame that it won't be in front of me. Or maybe it could be. Maybe I could stand here and then read the sign. You see, they get further and further away and there's not really room for me to put it on the block itself. But somewhere at this level, maybe I'm actually down here somewhere. Maybe I'm like reading these signs. I don't know. Like, and then written here is the farm type for that, and then that one and that one. So then I could have, these could be barrels possibly? These could be barrels with the stock. I'm asking so many questions now. Like, you can get so lost in the process of like how you deal with this stuff. Joel Duggan, thank you ever so much for the raid. Welcome all the raiders. I am deep in thought at the moment with how this shop is going to restock. Like, once I pick out what I need to restock, I then need to traverse over here, right? So like, maybe, so now I'm thinking like, the barrel for storing stuff could literally be right here, and I can walk across this space, and then I can look behind me to figure out what needs to be stocked up. And I can actually fit signs in this. Okay, I'm liking that. I am liking that. So I will walk into this space here, and I will have the sign for what farm. I mean, I could even put it in front of me here. 1, 2, 3, and then barrel. Right, and then my stock for that farm is just directly in front of me. This will be down, so then I can put it from A to B, right, directly above. That makes so much sense. Probably just makes sense to have the sign there anyway, right? But then I turn around for the lamps, so that's maybe why I keep the sign on that side. What farm is this then? Oh yeah, like, I'm out of stock. What farm is it? Okay, it's that farm. I'll go there because we're out of stock. And then, so somewhere around here. That's restock mode. That's what's okay. That's also what's awkward about this. maybe this is it all along. Like, maybe that's all I need, because I'm trying to use the redstone to make this easier. But I have to stand back here to like look at all the lamps. And then I have to activate this thing down here if I want to actually read signal. So the signal is red when the thing is blocked. But I'm also trying to restock. So it might just be that manually checking is easier. And I could probably, let's see, I could turn these into barrels. And I could do my usual thing of like skipping in here. That might be the change that needs to be made then. Right. Alright, here's how redstone works. You do this a lot in redstone. You just keep going down these little tangents of what can be done and why are you interacting with it in a particular way. Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't know how to come straight to the conclusion first time. But after all of that, it seems like what might be best to do is just change these to barrels. Okay? Because then, when I am in the mode that I have already built into this contraption, yes, I don't have something that tells me exactly what needs restocking, but I can look, and the thing is directly above me. And then we don't have the sign, though. We don't have the thing that tells me what the farm is, but truth be told, I think I'm going to remember what farm it is when I'm looking at it. Skulk Vein, yeah, I'll write it down, I'll go to that farm. Leather Farm, yeah, maybe some of these it's a tricky to remember. Where do I get obsidian from again? You know? And a lot of that thinking was built out of trying to remember all the farms that I have, which is a different task. When you're somewhere else in the world and you're like, what farm should I AFK at? It's kind of hard to specifically remember all the ones you got, but when you look at them, immediately my brain makes that mental connection of like, oh yeah, that's the raid farm, let's go there. So I don't think After all of that, I don't think we need the signs, really. Because when you come and look... Oh, and I started off with this grand idea that we would have, like, storage at the back, going up, shulker boxes, visually see how much you've got. It'll tell me what farm it is. Then I come here to build it and I realize, oh my god, that's a lot of like walking back and forth over and over again. That doesn't make much sense. But I believe we have come to a conclusion that I am satisfied with, so that will work. What did you think of all that? Am I just mad? Am I like mad overthinking, or do you like it? I feel like Shinny has the attitude I have. I feel like your approach is so much better, X. You learn a lot along the way, and you're more likely to try new things even if you don't have the knowledge to do them first time. Yeah. I feel like old me would have got frustrated and annoyed each time I realized that what I was doing didn't actually need to be useful. But now I try and focus on having fun in following that. And like... doing all that stuff with the comparators that we did, that was good fun. It was really good fun to figure all of that out. So, like, I don't think it's a loss, because I might have, if I'd have given up earlier, I might have not come to this conclusion that actually just putting the barrels here makes a lot of sense, right? I like it. I like going through the process. That's my new attitude. And both are true. You are overthinking, but I enjoy it. Yeah, maybe I am, but like I think there's a good reason to overthink it, which is just to make sure that the process is right. And I feel like the more you engage with this idea, the more it'll carry over to other things as well. So like if you just put up with like spending forever walking back and forth, then that's the way you're going to play the game. If you get into the weeds of like, actually, how do I make this like really smart for me to come in here and like restock effectively? Okay, like you in the long run, you save yourself some time and you learn some interesting ideas about where the information is and how you need to like access the information. And you know, I think it's good. I think it's good, and I've had fun with this. I'm just a little surprised that my iBuy thing has like gone from being quite grand of an idea to actually quite a simple one. But yeah. And it gave me a reason to do redstone, so that was awesome. Joel said, "Hey Xisuma, hope you're having a good stream. Was detailing the big stone bridge in my world today. Raid and run, gotta hit the gym. Oh dang, he's gone, but like hitting the gym. My man! I'm gonna be hitting the gym tomorrow. Went for a run today. Oh yeah, gotta stay in shape. Right, raid time, right? Riggedy riggedy raid. Peeps, thank you so much for tuning in today. Appreciate it ever so much. Hit the follow button if you had a good time. And thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. Thanks to all the Patreons, the mods, and the people gifting subs. Y'all are appreciated. And I shall be finding someone for you to enjoy. How about Iskal today? I hear that Iskal's making a return to Hermitcraft at some point. That has got me excited. Anyway, I'm heading out of here. Enjoy the raid. Enjoy some modded Minecraft. Take care.